Information technology. Almost every listed company is filed into one of 11 categories and into exactly one. S&P Dow Jones Indices and MSCI built the system in 1999 and still own it. A company goes where more than 60% of its revenue comes from. Information technology is the largest of the 11. In July 2026, it was nearly 37% of the S&P 500, roughly 3 times the next largest sector, bigger than financials, healthcare, and industrials put together. The rule that defines it is narrow. Technology has to be the product, not the medium, which makes the inside strange. In the fund built to track it, nearly half the weight is chips, semiconductors, and the machines that make them. Less than a quarter is software. NVIDIA by itself is nearly 8% of the index, more than energy, utilities, and materials put together. 3 whole sectors, 78 separate companies. NVIDIA employs 42,000 people. Walmart employs 2.1 million, yet carries a fraction of the weight. But the sector grew this large by first being cut down. In September 2018, 7 stocks worth nearly 21% of it were moved out into communication services, Alphabet and Facebook among them. Its share of the index fell from over 26% to about 21%. Overnight, not one company had changed what it did or what it was worth. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Broadcom, and Micron are now 24% of the entire index, about 2/3 of the sector. The largest category in the market is named for technology. Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, and Tesla, nearly 1/7 of the index between them, are filed somewhere else. Financials. In July 2026, financials was just over 12% of the S&P 500. 76 companies, roughly 1/3 the size of information technology. Visa and MasterCard together are the heaviest thing in the sector fund, more than JP Chase. Until the close on Friday the 17th of March 2023, GICS filed both under information technology. The banks underneath run on borrowed money. JP Chase held $5 trillion of assets in June 2026. $375 billion of it was the firm's own. $13 on the books for every dollar it owns. But that borrowed money is deposits, a promise the money is still there. On the 9th of March 2023, Silicon Valley Bank's depositors checked. Over $40 billion left the bank in a day. It told regulators it expected $100 billion more the next morning. About 3/4 of its deposit base queued to leave in about 36 hours. 88% of the bank's deposits were uninsured. Regulators closed it the following morning, 8:15 California time. Signature followed 2 days later. First Republic on the 1st of May. 5 banks failed that year, with nearly $550 billion between them. The biggest year for bank failures in dollars. Still nothing like 2008. At the first 2, a systemic risk exception covered every uninsured deposit. By law, that cost is recovered from the banks that did not fail. The promise held. The banks nobody ran on paid for it. Healthcare. Healthcare carries half the weight in the index that it carries in the economy. 9% of the S&P 500, 5th of 11, 18% of everything America produced in 2024, $5.3 trillion. Per person. Every person, sick or not, nearly $15,000 of health consumption. Roughly double what comparable high-income countries spend. American life expectancy hit an all-time high that year, 79 years. It still trailed theirs. Managed care sits inside healthcare, and financials carries a written carve-out to keep it there. So United Health is filed as a healthcare company on nearly $450 billion of 2025 revenue. But almost none of it stays. The Affordable Care Act sets a floor, 80% of premiums onto care, 85% for large groups, or the shortfall is rebated to policyholders. United Health kept 2.7 cents on the dollar, and some prices are no longer the drug makers to set. The first-time Medicare negotiated prices took effect in January 2026. The government estimates they are about 22% below where they were. Merck's Januvia was repriced that same day. Exclusivity expires on its own schedule. Humira was 27% of AbbVie's revenue in the year American exclusivity ended, and global sales fell 32%. Keytruda was 49% of Merck's sales in 2025. Its compound patent runs out in December 2028. Januvia's negotiated price lasted 4 months. In May, Merck lost exclusivity anyway. Consumer discretionary. Consumer discretionary is Sector 25, fourth largest of the 11, at just over 9% of the S&P 500. The largest company in it is a shop. The boundary with consumer staples is one phrase. One sub-industry covers retailers selling mostly consumer discretionary merchandise. Its mirror in staples covers retailers selling mostly consumer staples goods. Revenue decides most of it. As a general rule, sales above 60% in one activity settle where a company lives. Earnings comes second. Market perception, the methodology admits, counts as well, which is why the methodology's own worked example is Amazon. In fiscal 2022, online stores, third-party seller services, and physical stores came to 70% of its revenue. Amazon Web Services came to 16%. The standard uses Amazon to demonstrate not what a technology company is, but what a retailer is. But two companies carry it. Amazon and Tesla together are roughly 59% of it. Inside the sector's own fund, Tesla outweighs General Motors and Ford combined. About 6-to-1. Clothes, handbags, and luxury goods come to 3%. Home builders sit in this sector too, not in real estate. In 2022, Americans spent 8% more dollars in shops than the year before. The collapse that year was not a story about consumers. Amazon lost nearly half its value, Tesla 65%. The sector fell 37%, second worst of the 11. The dollars kept going up. The sector named after them fell by more than a third. Consumer staples. In July 2026, consumer staples was under 5% of the S&P 500, seventh largest of 11. NVIDIA alone was nearly 8%, more than every carton of milk and roll of paper towels in the index combined. The job is to be dull. Food, beverages, tobacco, household, and personal goods, businesses less sensitive to economic cycles. But by weight, the sector named for staple goods is more shelf space than food manufacturing. Distribution and retail is about a third of it. Food products, 17%. Roughly two-thirds of Costco's $8.1 billion profit in fiscal 2025 came not from selling anything but from membership fees. Dullness shows up in the returns. Over the decade to March 2026, the sector's fund returned 7% a year, against the index fund's 14%. About half. Altria shipped nearly 62 billion cigarettes in the United States in 2025. 10% fewer than the year before. Lower volume cost that segment $2.4 billion. Higher prices gave back $1.7 billion. Operating income rose. The margin widened to 63%. In August, it raised its dividend for the 60th time in 56 years. A preliminary 9.1% of American adults smoke. In 1965, it was 42%. The customers are vanishing, and the profit is climbing. The fewer cigarettes it ships, the wider its margin gets. Energy. Energy is sector code 10, first in the standard. 2 industries out of 74. 21 companies in the S&P 500. Fewer than any other sector. The definition is built around molecules, not power. Exploration, refining, storage and transport of oil, gas, coal, and consumable fuels, plus the equipment and services companies. It used to run the market. At the end of 1980, it was 28% of the index. Exactly half of the 30 largest American stocks were energy stocks. By July 2026, it was about 3%, roughly 1/9 of what it was. But the business underneath did not shrink. America pumped 13.6 million barrels a day in 2025. A new American record. It beat the 13.2 million set in 2024. What shrank instead was the number of companies doing it. In 2023, Exxon announced a $59.5 billion merger with Pioneer. Chevron closed on Hess in July 2025 for about $53 billion. And on the 20th of April 2020, the May crude contract fell from $17.73 to minus $37.63. Sellers were paying buyers to take the barrels off their hands for the first time in the contract's 37 years. 3 days earlier, the tanks at Cushing, Oklahoma, the contract's delivery point, held 60 million barrels. Working capacity was about 76 million. Traders said the rest was already leased. The oil had not stopped selling. It had run out of room. Materials. Materials is the smallest slice of the 11. On the 16th of July, 2026, it was under 2% of the S&P 500. Below real estate. Below utilities. Against information technology at nearly 37. Its definition is a list of substances: chemicals, glass, paper, metals, minerals, steel. Not a list of customers. Half that list is rock and metal, but barely a fifth of the money is. Chemicals are 52% of the sector. Metals and mining under 19, and 26 companies hold the whole thing. The largest, Linde, is 14% of the sector on its own. 4 of the top 10 sell air or crushed stone. Not exotic metals. Air and gravel. NVIDIA alone is nearly 8% of the whole index. More than 4 times the sector. More than 4 times every chemical plant, quarry, smelter, and packaging line in it combined. Micron, the 10th largest company, is worth about 4/5 of all 26. In 2024, it was the worst of the 11 and the only one to lose money, down 0.04%. In autumn 2025, Honeywell's Advanced Materials spin-off joined the index as Materials on the 30th of October. 4 days later, DuPont's electronics arm arrived as Qnity Electronics, Classified Information Technology. Inside a materials company, that business was materials. Listed on its own, it was tech. Industrials. Industrials holds more companies than any other sector in the S&P 500. 81. Yet it is under 9% of the index, 6th of 11. Information technology carries 4 times that on 7 fewer names. 3 unrelated trades bolted together. Things made. Services sold to other businesses. Things moved. The name says factories. The holdings say otherwise. Payroll processing, garbage collection, uniform rental, pest control, credit files. 10 such companies outweigh the sector's 3 airlines nearly 4-to-1. Uber, which owns almost none of the cars it dispatches, outweighs Delta, United, and Southwest combined. In 2025, Boeing turned its first annual profit since 2018. Its commercial airplanes division lost $7 billion that year. The profit came largely from selling part of a software business. Warren Buffett wrote that a far-sighted capitalist at Kitty Hawk would have done his successors a favor by shooting Orville down. The Government Accountability Office counted 162 airline bankruptcy filings between 1978 and 2005. 7 of every 8 that filed to reorganize did not survive as carriers. The railroads never stopped. Union Pacific hauled 1% fewer carloads in early 2026, yet collected 4% more revenue. The sector's 3 railroads are worth nearly 3 times its airlines. The oldest stock index still running is a transport index. 9 of its 11 original members were railroads. Uber outweighs 3 airlines. Union Pacific outweighs Uber in the sector fund, and it was already on that index in 1884. Communication services. Communication services is sector 50, 3rd largest of the 11 at 10% of the S&P 500. About 20 companies. The rule that built it was blunt. If technology is the business, the company stays in information technology. If technology is only the medium, it leaves. Microsoft and IBM stayed. Facebook and Twitter moved out. They moved into almost nothing. Before September 2018, Telecommunication services held 3 stocks against a sector average of 45. In MSCI's global index, 301 companies arrived at once, the largest turnover of any sector. What arrived was a room, not a category. 2 regulated telephone carriers, 2 video game publishers, 2 cable operators, a concert promoter, a wrestling promoter, and Alphabet and Meta. By May 2026, most of the sector was falling. Only 8 of about 20 lines were up. What the sector did that year was mostly what 2 companies did. Alphabet and Meta are about 80% of it. The reason given for the sector was convergence, telecom, media, and internet merging. 3 months before it took effect, AT&T bought Time Warner for a reported $109 billion. But 4 years later, it spun the whole thing off, in a deal valued at around $43 billion. By 2026, Alphabet was worth roughly 28 times AT&T. The old sector was 3 stocks. The new one is about 20 companies, but 2 of them are 4/5 of it. Utilities. Utilities was just over 2% of the S&P 500 on the 16th of July 2026. 9th of 11. 6 sub-industries, fewer than any other sector. Under the regulatory compact, a utility takes a legal obligation to serve every customer in its territory. The state promises rates meant to cover the cost of meeting it, and in return, regulation instead of competition. The profit is arithmetic. Allowed revenue is operating costs, plus depreciation, plus taxes, plus a rate of return multiplied by the rate base, the depreciated book value of what the company has built and put into service. Shareholder profit is only that last term. Since January 2026, a state commission has allowed Florida Power & Light just under 11% on equity, floored and capped. Below the floor, it can ask for a rise. Above the cap, anyone with standing can petition to cut its rates. But the number is fought over, not granted. Pacific Gas and Electric asked California's commission for 11.3. In December 2025, it got just under 10. For 2 decades, demand barely moved. Then the forecast broke. A December 2024 study of utilities' own filings put 5-year peak demand growth at 128 gigawatts. 2 years earlier, 23. Meeting it means building. A 1962 paper named the result. A return set on capital is a documented incentive to overbuild, to gold-plate the system. For a regulated utility, the surest way to earn more is not to sell more power. It is to spend more money. Real estate. Real estate is Sector 60, the highest code of the 11 and the last added, the only sector ever created rather than reshuffled. Nothing was invented. Land had been sitting inside financials the whole time. After the close on the 31st of August 2016, somebody finally gave it its own drawer. Mortgage REITs did not make the trip. Lending against a building is not owning one. At the end of 2022, the world's property was worth nearly $380 trillion, more than global equities and bonds combined. Yet its sector is under 2% of the S&P 500. 31 companies, second smallest of the 11. But the things it owns have changed. The largest company is a senior housing landlord that calls itself an operating company in a real estate wrapper. At the end of 2025, the 4th largest owned 149,686 steel masts. Not buildings, masts. Data center and tower REITs are roughly 22% of the sector. Office REITs are 1% of it, about 20 times smaller. In the sector's first weeks, the biggest name in it was a mall landlord. The offices are not being relet. They are being erased. 33 million square feet of American office space removed in 5 quarters, converted, repositioned, demolished. Real estate was the last thing the market thought to name. By then, the offices everyone pictures were 1% of it, and the masts and machine sheds were 20 times that.